morning, all. Welcome to Cruise Smarter Live. I'm Walter, your independent travel agent. We got TikTok up here. We've got Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube all happening over here. So welcome everybody to the show. If you're new to the channel, I'm Walter, your independent travel agent with Where's Walter Travel here in Orlando, Florida. Orlando. I'm just excited about Book of Mormon and Josh Gad and Andrew Reynolds. We're just back in the show. Anyway, welcome back to the show. If you've never experienced us before, what we do is we just spend about the next hour or so answering all of your questions about all things cruising, rivers, oceans, expedition, and even land tours, because we do book it all. And your services are truly 100% free to you, or our services are truly 100% free to you. I'm just so excited. We are a mere 5 days away from getting on a plane and jetting over for our very first river cruises. So I can't even think. I'm just so friggin' excited. Good morning, Cheryl. How are you? Hey, good morning. John's here. Alex, Mimi, Felix, Stefan. Good morning, everybody. Candace and Benny so far. How's everybody doing? And everybody over on TikTok, good to see everybody over there as well. We are 5 days away from getting on a Delta jet plane. We're gonna take a short hop up to our old stomping grounds up in Atlanta, Georgia. And then we will be making the long haul flight over to Amsterdam. First time, so I've made it to London. Rebecca is a little bit more world traveled than I am.
I've gotten Denmark, Scotland, Sweden, and Russia.
And Russia, wow. Wow, that was a while ago.
Yeah, well, most of these were a while ago.
Yeah, wow. Hey, great first question. Is there any need to obtain an EES before traveling to Europe in November? And if so, can you? Yeah, that's the new electronic system, right, Rebecca?
Yeah, but at the moment, there really isn't much you can do in advance for most countries.
Right.
There is an app. Oh, let me see. I have it on my phone, even though.
So there is an app for that.
Yeah, there is an app called Travel to Europe. It's from the actual EU.
Okay.
But right now, and in that app, you can pre-enter some of your information, but unfortunately, unless you're going to either, I think it's Sweden or Portugal, it will not apply. They're working on rolling it out to more countries, but at the moment, it's just, I believe it's Sweden and Portugal.
There you go. So yeah, so the EES is running, but there are still some kinks in it, and there's so what do we have to do?
Well, I mean, we're going to do what everybody has to do. Is you have to go to these kiosks and scan your passport and do some sort of facial recognition thing and fingerprint thing, and maybe enter some other information. And then after you do that, then you go through customs.
There you go.
Apparently, at some points, because I guess a lot of the machines have been breaking down.
Nice.
And it only started in April, so it's still relatively new. There have been very, very long delays at some points in some airports, literally anywhere from 4 to 6 hours of getting through the whole process.
Yeah, so as with anything new, there can be delays. That's a very long delay, but
yeah. And for us, fortunately, Amsterdam is our end destination. We get there early in the morning, and while we could drop our luggage off at our hotel, our room won't be ready till the afternoon. So we don't really have a specific time. If you're doing a connection in Europe, you might be more worried, but
yeah, because they make you go through it just for the connection right now.
That's what I understand.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense to me. That it sounds like they're actually making people go through this whole process, the EES process, even if you're just landing in the airport and connecting to another flight. For some reason, they seem to be making you go through. And maybe it's kind of like here, when you come back from the U.S. and you come back from another country and you hit the first U.S. stop, you have to go through Customs and Border Patrol before you can go on land. Even if you're not staying there, like on a cruise ship, you're just coming back onto the cruise ship. So I don't know.
But
so the fortunate,
The fortunate thing for us then, when we go to Italy, we'll have already registered in this system, and it keeps your information for, I think, 3 years.
Yeah.
So we'll just be able to go straight to customs. We won't have to do the whole kiosk entering all the information and the facial data and fingerprints and all of that. So we'll just be able to go straight to the second part of it.
Once you do it once, you know, you're good for 3 years. By the way, John says, take me with you. So John, if you can fit inside this, you are welcome to come with us. We'll talk about that later. But yeah, John, I am so excited too. John Cooper is saying that he waited 2 hours in passport control in Amsterdam last month. So we just need to be prepared for it. Fortunately, we were able to upgrade. Rebecca scored some sweet upgrades to Delta One for both of the long hauls, which is probably going to be a good thing, could be a bad thing, because as Alex said, once you sit in Delta One, you know, I know I'm going to come back on a plane. I got to fly to LA in August, and I'm going to be like, wait, this is the seat you want me to sit in? Excuse me? No.
Well, at the moment, we still just have premium economy going to Italy, so
right.
I'm keeping a lookout to see if I get any good offers, but and I will tell you, I don't know how it works with other airlines, but with Delta, the first offer I got for the long haul from Atlanta to Amsterdam was ridiculously high.
Yeah.
And eventually they lowered that, and then they lowered it again, and that's when I bought.
That's when we bought it.
Don't have kind of a number in your head of what it's worth to upgrade, and really kind of stick to it.
Stick to it, yeah, because she did score some sweet deals on that too. So, you know, if you're ever looking to upgrade your flights and whatnot, you know, stick to your guns. Don't just, oh my God, it's like, you know, this much, I'll just jump right on it. Rebecca was like, no, if it comes near this number, then I'm gonna pull the trigger. And she did. She waited, so it worked really, really well. So
yeah, I'm so glad I didn't take the first or second offer, because it got better.
Yeah, John Cooper is saying if you're changing flights to another country, you do not need to go through passport control.
Okay.
So that's good to know. We're hearing conflicting information, and it may be conflicting based on the airport, but that would, my understanding is that if you're just going through, you didn't have to go through passport control. But some reports are saying, yes, you still need to go through passport control.
Okay, now, if you're going through to another EU country, perhaps, but if you're going, like my sister and her husband in October are going to Scotland, but they're flying from the US to Amsterdam and then on to Scotland, so they're going into the EU and then back out. So I don't know if that's the same or that's different. Like if you were going from onto a different EU country, maybe it wouldn't matter.
It might be different. And by the way, for those of you new to the channel, that's my lovely wife, Rebecca, sitting off camera. She's a little camera shy. She doesn't like to come on on this show. So again, if you're just joining us, feel free to drop your questions in about all things cruising. Today's just an open Q&A. I figured I would talk a little bit about some of our prep as we get ready for our first river cruises. We booked a lot of river cruises. We have done all the research. We've done the training. I've had a lot of meetings with my river cruise partners. So we know river cruising quite well. We just haven't actually been on the ships, and that will be corrected next week when we step onto the Avalon View. In fact, I've got this right here. June 23rd through the 30th, we're going to be on the Avalon View. That's the same ship that will be our Christmas Markets River Cruise next year. So we're going to be on the Avalon View June 23rd through the 30th on the Rhine River, heading from Amsterdam down to Basel, Switzerland. And then on July 2nd, we'll hop on the Amelucia, which will take us north from Basel to Amsterdam. So we're going to go south and north on the Rhine River. So on the Avalon, we'll do an Amsterdam overnight, then we go to Cologne, Rudesheim, Mainz, Strasbourg, Breisach, and Basel. And then on the reverse, we'll do Basel, Breisach, Strasbourg, Ludwigshafen, Landstein, Dusseldorf, and then Amsterdam overnight. So it's kind of cool. We do have different stops in both directions, and we will be able to try out both cruise lines back to back, which would be kind of neat. And AMA insisted that we go on their ship second. So this particular one, it's a very rare occurrence in our career for sure. We were invited by both Avalon Waterways and AMA Waterways to come experience their ships so we can get firsthand knowledge. First, Avalon invited us, and then the AMA rep heard us talking and said, well, if you're going on their ships, you need to come on ours too. So, but then she insisted that we do it second. So we will be going, basically going to be an education and training session for us while we're doing this. Plus, we're going to take advantage of the of being there. Going to spend 3 days in Amsterdam. We're going to spend 2 days in Basel before and between the cruises. So that's going to be really, really nice. But this is pretty normal for river cruises, that you either start out or you end with an overnight in the port. Even some of the ocean cruises do this as well, but it is very, I don't want to say it's a standard thing, but it happens quite a bit, that on a river cruise, that first night is an overnight or the last night is an overnight in whatever port you're in. So then the ship basically becomes your hotel for the evening. So everybody else is here. John said Delta One for Italy is still half empty on his flight. Well, remember, you've got a different flight than us.
Yeah, and I'm not looking to flat out buy it. I'm looking for an upgrade offer.
Well, no, he's saying you should get a reasonable offer a bit closer.
Yeah.
Yeah. And by the way, you know, I did mention the Christmas cruise. If you want to come with us, you know, we've got over 70 people. I think we've got around 76 people joining us for the Christmas time on the Rhine. They're going to be December 7th through the 14th of 2027. So I know some people are like, well, I don't want to be gone for the holidays. You won't. You'll be home for Thanksgiving, you'll be home for Christmas, and we're going to do the Christmas markets cruise right in between. So it's December 7th through the 14th, Basel, Breisach, Strasbourg, Ludwigshafen, Rudolph, Cologne, Mainz, and then Frankfurt. So you're going from Basel, Switzerland up to Frankfurt, Germany. And it's going to be an absolutely stonking amazing cruise. It really is. So we're getting the opportunity. Avalon said, why don't you come and see the river, come and see the ship. So this way you'll better understand what's going on. And then we can bring more information to you guys. So we're very, very excited about this one. And of course, John mentioned the Italy one. Where is the Italy one? It's in here somewhere. I've got so many things in my graphics now that I can't keep up with it all. Is it this one? Nope, it's not that one. There it is, that one. Italy. If you guys want to come to Italy with us, we're traveling to Italy in October. There's still room. There's still room. The transatlantic cruise is almost sold out, but the 10 nights around Italy, going from Ravenna around the Civitavecchia, there's still plenty of room on that one. So, good morning, Tom. How are you? Summer arrived in the Northwest this weekend. I know, you know, some of you guys are probably noticing I'm sitting in the kitchen now. It's already over 90 degrees outside, out there. So I would love to be doing the show out there where we typically do our show, but it's just so hot and so muggy out there.
Yeah,
so that's why we're sitting inside.
The 110% humidity doesn't help.
Yeah. So even in the shade, it's just so hot. That's why we kind of moved in here. Anybody else, by the way, collect magnets for the refrigerator? You see, we're getting a pretty good collection going on over here. That we used to like get larger things, and then we're like, you know what, let's just get magnets. It's kind of simple, right? So anybody else do the whole magnet thing on your fridge so that you can remember where you went? It's just kind of fun. Hey, Pam and Bob, how are you? Stan is saying Tony didn't say anything about issues on his flight to Ireland. He flew into Philly before his flight to Dublin. Yeah, I don't know. I will have to ping him. And actually, I want to talk to Tony when he gets back anyway, because he's on a Colette tour, and we're currently talking with Colette to set up a group. So we've got a couple of group announcements coming soon, and we're probably going to select one of them this week, but we won't be announcing it until we come back, because it's just going to be too much to announce it and all that while we're traveling. So your German friends enjoy visiting Dusseldorf. I'm just so excited to visit all of these places. And in fact, if anybody's got any tips and tricks for traveling in Europe, by all means, drop them in. You know, it's funny, Rebecca does most of the research for our personal trips because I'm so busy taking care of your trips. I barely have time to do research on my own stuff. So it's kind of funny. So I'm more like just showing up, and Rebecca's done all the research and goes, here's what we're doing.
And honestly, I have to say, I don't have as much time to do a in-depth research as I used to.
Yeah, well, we're working on that. So we got Phoebe here now. So yeah, if you guys don't know, we now have Phoebe working with us. So while I'm traveling, right now, for those of you who are my clients, if you look at my calendar, you'll notice that there's no time on the calendar while I'm gone. I'll be 5 hours ahead, and it's going to be,
I
and
think
we
it's
do
6
have a lot of
hours.
things. Huh?
I think it's 6 hours.
I thought it was 5.
Oh.
Yeah, it's 5 or 6 hours ahead. So it was 5 last week. So we will. My schedule is going to be all wackadoodle compared to the U.S. And I will have time to meet with you guys. It's just going to be kind of pockets of time. So anybody who's a current client, if you want to meet with me while I'm gone, just write to me, because Phoebe's going to be monitoring my emails. And if you want to set up a meeting with me, just write to me and just let me know. And if I'm not available, Phoebe will just set you up with Corey or Mindy. No problem. So we're going to take care of you guys while we're gone. We're going to be managing all of your travel while we're gone. It's just I did not set up any available meeting time because my schedule is going to be very flex while we're over there. And me being so far ahead, I didn't want to mess up everything. So.
And it is 4:46 p.m. in Amsterdam. So that is 6 hours.
Oh, so it is 6. Okay. I thought it was 5 last week. Gotcha. Oh, I may have looked at London. Good morning, Darla. How are you? Good to see you. You need to retire now so you can do all these different cruises. You love Explorer, but river cruising has really piqued your interest lately. I'm telling you, river cruising is a whole other way of doing things. You know, the ocean cruises, they bring you to the countries, whereas the river cruises go through them. And that is really the big difference in that. And we've got some clients who will combine them, you know, especially over in Europe. You know, they'll do that big Mediterranean cruise, and then it's like, well, now I want to do something on the Rhine, or I want to go into France, or maybe Portugal. So you can combine them, or combining the ocean cruise with a land tour too, because you know you've got all kinds of things going on the land tour as well. So, yeah, Darla's saying because the airfare is so expensive lately, you feel like you got to do more than just cruise while you're over there. I know. John says, if you do not collect a magnet, did you even really go there? I like that. And Benny's got a lot of magnets, and Stan's been collecting the magnets since the first cruise in 2015. I mean, we sort of kind of collected the magnets like we've got back there.
Off and on, if we saw one we liked.
Yeah. Now I pretty much make a point to get one from every port. So hopefully we'll be bringing some back from over there. And yeah, Tom is already ahead of me. One of the things we were going to talk about is having the €1 coins for the bathrooms over there. It's a very different experience over there. If you're used to just having bathrooms available that you can use over in Europe, you got to have a €1 coin to use it. And actually, in some cases, a little bit more than €1 now, right?
Well, I unfortunately, when you order money like we did, because we just ordered it via FedEx from our bank,
Right.
you can't get coins. So I'm planning when we're there to hold on to all my euro coins.
Yes.
For Italy.
Yeah. So I've actually done a couple of videos about this. But you know, one of the things that you can do when you're traveling overseas, and we always recommend just get a little bit of cash on hand, so this way you've got it. But Rebecca went ahead and ordered. We've got some euros and we've got some Swiss francs because we're going to be in Switzerland and over in Europe as well. And in some places you can actually go to the bank and get these. In our case, we actually ordered these, or Rebecca ordered these in advance. But the one thing you can't order are the coins. You've got to, you can only get the coins when you're over there. So, but Rebecca got too much. I don't know, you got a couple $100 of stuff here because we know that we're going to Italy in October, so we'll be able to use the euros in Italy. And the Swiss francs, if we don't use them all, we can use them for our Christmas markets cruise, which is coming up next year. So that's the nice thing about the cash, right? The cash doesn't expire. But yeah, so you can order it. It actually came with FedEx. You got to make sure you're going to be home because they're going to make you sign for it. But it's actually a pretty easy process to do. You know, the hard part is just figuring out, well, how much should you take? Because a lot of the banks actually won't take it back. That's the thing. You can get the cash, but sometimes they just don't take it back. So you don't want to get too much. But it is for, you know, why is our money so boring? You know, look at this. This is so pretty. It's like all different colors, different textures. The back of it's very pretty as well. You know, our money is just so boring. I like all these colors, and it's nice too because when you see the color, you know exactly what it is. You don't have to go look at the numbers. It's so pretty. I wish we had more interesting money. You know. Maybe Monopoly had the right idea. So, is what real or fake? You mean the money? No, the money's real for sure. So I don't know what that question was referencing, Brian. Sorry about that. But if you're asking about the money's real. Yeah. Let's see. John likes to send postcards. Oh, that's a fun idea. He said he likes to send postcards from wherever he is because it usually takes a few weeks to get back. So when he gets home, there's a postcard coming. That's a cool thing to do as well. Barbara saying when they were in Rome, the Italian bank would not exchange our money unless we were a member of their bank. Yeah, so keep that in mind. You can get money locally, but you could have, some pretty high fees from your bank for using that local ATM. So one of the things that Rebecca recommends is looking that information up before you go. Find out which banks in the local area are part of your bank's network so that you can get the cash. There still may be funds on there, extra fees on there. And the other thing too is if you're going to use a credit card in Europe, you want to make sure that you're using a credit card that does not have international transaction fees, which a lot of them do. So we just got a new one that does not.
Yes.
Right, and we basically got it specifically for this trip. Also know that American Express is not accepted in as many places as all those ads would make you think. American Express ads make it look like, hey, it's accepted everywhere. It's not. So yeah. Bill's fan wants to know a group cruise on a Royal Icon class. We actually tried to do that. And Royal Caribbean just wasn't having it. They weren't going to give us the space. And Royal Caribbean is one of the hardest, if you're trying to do a big group or you're trying to do a group with like really good savings or something like that, Royal Caribbean is actually one of the hardest to do that with. We have better luck just getting group rates from our consortium. But yeah, we were actually trying to put a group together on the Hero of the Seas, to be honest with you, and we ended up on a different ship. So, but no, the group that we're talking about is going to be a much smaller ship, So, Bill's fan said not only do they get the magnet, they get that welcome aboard photo. Do you guys get that welcome aboard photo? We did for a while, and now we just kind of walk by. And I will say I'm not a big fan of like the green screen one. If I'm going to do it, I still like that classic, here's the ship in the backdrop and all of that. But do you guys get that welcome aboard shot? That's kind of fun. Stan, yeah, so here's another thing to consider. When you fly over, Stan says, we stayed up most of the day after your arrivals in London and Rome. It was a fight to stay awake, but why waste a day? And it helped with the jet lag. That's one of those things. I saw Tony post about that too. When you're flying from here to there, we're going to be 6 hours ahead. So when we land at 9 in the morning, it's already going to be whatever time that is, 3 in the afternoon here. So one of the tips and the tricks is to just fight through it. Stay up that day so that you don't fall asleep until the evening and then you wake up in the morning. And that is tough, especially for somebody who needs naps during the day.
Well, maybe I can just
we'll try.
Set an alarm and only nap for like an hour.
Yeah. So that's one of the things, I think we do have some plans. Actually, we have no plans on that day.
No.
But I do intend to start eating cheese almost from the moment I get to Amsterdam. That's going to be my goal.
I was thinking maybe we go to that market and get the stroopwafel.
Yes. Oh my gosh. So we are not going to the famous stroopwafel place. There's a stroopwafel place in Amsterdam that everybody does the Instagram photos with, and they have like 50 different versions of it. No, we're going to a street cart. There's a street cart that is supposed to have like the best stroopwafels in all of Amsterdam, and they are no nonsense. They look amazing, and that's where we're going. Everybody wants to go to the fancy one. I don't need the fancy. I just want the real deal. So we're going to go where all the locals go. Hey, Michael, how are you? Thank you. Congrats on your new agency support coordinator. Yes, Phoebe started with us, like 3 weeks ago. She hails from New York. And by the way, congratulations, all of you New Yorkers. I know you're all excited. Your Knickerbockers won the NBA championship, so congratulations. Gosh, man, I remember going to the Knicks. God, I don't even know if I was in high school yet when last time I saw the Knicks. That was a long time ago, man, Madison Square Garden. But congratulations, that's exciting. That is truly awesome. Bill's fan, is it just Germany that charges for the washroom or all of EU? Pretty much the whole of all of EU, because like in Amsterdam, all of those Christmas market towns that we're going to be hitting along the way. I think Basel's the same way. I don't know, is Basel the same way?
We'll find out, I guess.
Yeah, we'll find out. But yeah, it is most of the EU.
It is common in Europe. I'm not saying it's everywhere, but it is very, very common.
Yeah, so it's very common. Pam,
but apparently they're much cleaner, so there is that.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why you're paying the money, because it actually pays for the upkeep of the bathroom. So I'm fine with that. If they're nice, clean ones, I'm fine with that. Pam and Bob are saying they did that with Canadian money and found that they could exchange back the bills, but we could not use the coins. Yeah, so that makes sense. So the local banks here and in Canada, they'll do the bills, but they don't want anything to do with the coins. So that kind of makes sense.
Well, I'm keeping all my euro coins.
Yeah. And Tom is saying that in Germany, in the high tourist sites, you need the coins, but not necessarily in rural areas. Which kind of makes sense, because the high traffic tourist areas are the ones that are going to have all the public bathrooms around. And then in the rural areas, you would just go to a local pub or something, buy a drink, use the restroom in there, do something like that. Felix saying that he found some public restrooms that were tapped with a credit card last year on a Europe trip. Well, that's fun.
That's nice.
That's nice, getting rid of the need for the coin. I love that. Love that. No euros in Switzerland. They aren't part of the EU.
I know. That's why we have the Swiss francs.
Yep. They are not part of the EU. You need Swiss francs to go into Switzerland. Yeah, I know. The whole EU thing is so confusing, right? Because you just think of Europe as one big pool, but they're not necessarily. They're all independent countries. So everybody has their own rules. So yeah, in Switzerland, you got to have the Swiss francs. How about that?
And interestingly, on our Italy trip, we're going to be also stopping in Montenegro, which is not part of the EU, but the euro is their official currency, even though they're not part of the EU.
See that? So you just never know. You just never know. You really got to keep
research.
Up on it. And it's one of those things that I keep forgetting. I keep saying I need to make like a basic currency outline for our clients, and I will get that done. Send that out. That's one of the things that I do like to help you out with.
The other interesting thing on our transatlantic, we have a stop in Morocco, and I guess they have a closed currency system. So at least for Americans, we can't buy their currency until we get there. So I can't come with any Moroccan whatevers.
True. That's true. So Stefan's saying, I feel like you need cash less and less, but it depends on where you are. Yeah, I mean, we are very quickly going to a cashless society, right? You can just tap your phone, you can just use your card, you can use whatever. So yeah, it does seem like we're moving more and more towards that cashless society. You are correct.
It was very apparent when we just went to a Broadway show here in Orlando, and we had no cash on us to tip the valet. So we're like, oh no.
Yeah. Thank you, Mindy, for coming in. I mean, I never have cash. I rarely have cash on me. So,
but I do hear in the Christmas markets, particularly, there will be. I mean, many of the stalls will take cards, but there will still be some stalls that you can only use cash.
I do like Bill's fan. There's a reason why he does the welcome aboard shot is because it shows him before the 10 pounds that he's going to gain on the cruise. Not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. And then, of course, if you get the pictures, you can see the progression throughout the cruise. Oh, that's where I must have had the pasta dinner right there. See the change between that picture and that picture? Kind of brilliant. It's kind of brilliant, yeah. I love that. I absolutely love that. Alex is saying he usually gets the money from an ATM in Europe. Again, you want to check with your bank before you do that to make sure that you know which ATMs are in your bank's network, and then that can save you on the fees. Because if you do it outside your network, obviously the fees are going to be very high. If you do it inside your network, you're still going to have fees, but they hopefully should be lower because they're in your network. So yeah, you definitely want to do that. Rhonda Ross. You were recently on a Freedom of the Seas in a suite, and it was underwhelming. So I don't know which suite you were in. Very few perks. So the perks You got to get up to, I don't think Royal Class is on, or Star Class. Star Class is not on that ship. You really got to hit Star Class to hit it all. And then the one right below, Star Class. The lower suites, you're really just getting the extra points.
Well, yeah, the junior suites and stuff, you get extra points and you get priority embarkation, and that's pretty much it. Yeah. Maybe one or two other things.
So in August, you're going to be on the Norwegian Prima in a suite. Do I know what that experience is like? So are you in a suite or are you in the Haven? Because there are two different things. The Haven has suites, plus they have suites. The regular suites do come with a butler. And they do come with some perks. I just don't know which level you're in. So, and I don't know it all offhand. Like the Haven is basically like you get just about everything. You still got to do the free at sea package, which I think is kind of silly. I think once you're in a suite, like that should be included, right? But it's not. So you still need to add that. You will have a butler available. And that is the word that they use. They have butler service available. They don't say that you'll have a butler because it's not a dedicated butler. And I don't think it's the Haven butlers. I think it's another pool of butlers that serve just the suites. So you will have a butler available. I can't think offhand exactly what else you'll have when you're in a suite, but you'll have access to that butler. You'll have some priority. And again, it depends on, well, they only have a couple of levels of suite before you jump into the Haven. The Prima itself, I think, has 2 or 3 levels of suite before you hit the Haven. So if you're in the Haven, you're going to have the restaurant, the pool, the butler, your private elevators, all those amenities. If you're not in the Haven, you will have a few amenities, but it's not the same as staying up in the Haven. But with Royal Caribbean, the best suites and the best perks with those suites are going to be on the Oasis, the Quantum, and the Icon class. That's where they really expanded it out.
Yeah, I think those are the only ships with that top level suite.
Yeah. So, and they also added, I think, another level or 2 in there. So the Royal Caribbean suite experience really does depend on the ship that you're on. It really does. And it's the same with, a lot of them, whereas they got newer, the newer ships are able to make bigger suites, they're able to add more elements and things like that. Freedom of the Seas was built before they really leaned into Royal Genies and all of that stuff. So it is definitely very different. Norwegian, and it's going to be interesting. I think Norwegian and Royal Caribbean are somewhat evenly matched in terms of the overall experience on the ship. However, the shows, personally, I think the shows are still better on Royal Caribbean overall. But you do have very good specialty dining on Norwegian, for sure.
And I will say the Haven experience, even on Norwegian, the Haven experience varies depending on ship, because the older ships do not have the dedicated pool area. They don't have the dedicated restaurant. So it's not the same experience. She's going to have
that on the Prima.
Well, yes, on the Prima,
and you're actually going to have the first of the, well, if you're in the Haven, Prima was the first one that moved the Haven to where it should have been all along, which is in the back of the ship. So you get that beautiful infinity pool overlooking the aft, that's where it should have been all along, not up in the front. That's just my opinion. But yeah. So you're going to have a good time. You're going to have a good time. Good morning, Warren. How are you? Hey, Silver Librarian. How are you? What do butlers do that room stewards don't, like the Royal Genies? So
Royal Genies are basically what they call butlers.
Yes.
On Royal Caribbean. So
the butler is
same
basically your personal concierge. So you can't ask the room steward to make you dining reservations, or to take care of excursions, or to take care of an issue that you might be having with billing, or basically the butler is your personal concierge.
Or if you want to do a little cocktail party for friends in your cabin.
Your room steward is taking care of your room, right? They're going to clean your room. They're going to make sure your room is perfect, and if there's an issue with the room, they're going to get maintenance to come take care of it. Now the butler could do that as well, but the butler is really your overall cruise experience concierge. And we're going to be going on Silver Sea, and Silver Sea is famous that every room gets a butler, and they are known for going over the top. Now the Royal Genie, because we did have personal experience with one on the Star of the Seas, we happened to be, I was cruising with Stephanie, and Stephanie's really good friends had a Royal Suite that came with a Genie. and he kind of adopted us too. So like for example, our friends wanted us to do something with them, but Stephanie and I had dinner reservations that conflicted, and the genie was like, don't worry about that. Just show up at Giovanni's at this time, I'll be waiting for you. And he did, he was waiting for us. He's like, okay, come with me, let's find the table. So a room steward doesn't do that. So now on Silversea, they've been known, I've heard stories from our clients that, you know, they were out on an Alaska excursion, and the butler like knew about when they were going to be back, and they may have seen them swipe in or something on the ship. They may have been tracking that, and when they showed up in the room, there was a beautiful bubble bath that was drawn for them, nice and hot. I think there was like coffee or hot chocolate waiting for them. So, you know, they take care of your overall cruise experience, whereas the room steward takes care of your room for you. Yeah, so and I don't even know what all we're going to have the butler do, because I've never had one personally. And we will in January for our group cruise.
I think you've already decided a standing morning coffee order.
I think that's going to be a good one. And if anybody wants to come with us, that is our murder mystery cruise. We're really going to get going. So people keep asking me, so do you have updates on that? What's this murder mystery going to be? We're going to really start working on that after this trip. You know, we got to start doing, Rebecca's done a lot of good homework on Italy already. So we've kind of got that well in hand, but as soon as we get back, we're going to be jumping into the Silversea Silver Ray, January 5th through the 16th, 2027. If you want to come with us, we've got a really nice group of folks coming. It's Miami, San Juan, St. John, St. Kitts, Antigua, Guadeloupe, and Tortola. It's 11 nights on the Silversea Silver Ray on a nice Southern Caribbean cruise right after the holidays. So the holidays are over. Let's just go and relax in the Southern Caribbean. If you are into murder mysteries, you can come along. We're going to have a murder mystery game happening on this cruise. We already know we're going to do a Clue tournament. We found this expanded version of Clue, and so we're going to have a Clue tournament for sure. And we're also setting up a chef's table dinner for those who want to come, and we're inviting everybody to come dressed in your favorite character. Now, if you don't care about murder mysteries, that's fine. The ship is amazing. This will be like the most relaxing 11 days you have ever had on a cruise ship. I can almost guarantee that. So yeah, so if you want to come along, Silversea Silver Ray, January 5th through the 16th, 2027. Just go to where'swaltertravel.com. Click on the group travel page. There are all kinds of groups up there, including one that I have not had a chance to post yet. Mindy is hosting a Panama Canal cruise on Virgin Voyages in 28, I think it is. But that'll be posted by the end of the day today as well. But if you want to come on the Silversea Silver Ray or any of the groups, we got all kinds of groups over there on that page. You should come along. I've also got the Halloween as well. If you want to come cruise with Tony and Jenny B again, oh my God, we're going to be on the Star Princess for Halloween in 27, October 31st through November 7th. You're going to celebrate Halloween twice, because we're going to sail on Halloween, and then we're going to have a costume party 2 days later. So it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. Oh, Stefan is mentioning too that a lot of EU countries, like where he is in Sweden, do not use the euro. Yeah, it's a very interesting thing, right? It's a very interesting thing. Kathy's saying she ordered her money via AAA when you went to Ireland. Yeah, we just ordered it from our bank. So, hey Carol, how are you? You're getting ready for the transatlantic on board the Queen Mary 2. That is absolutely awesome. Felix Torres, Jeannie can even bring specialty coffee to your room or set up specialty dining service. Absolutely. Oh, Rhonda, you're in the Haven. Yeah, so that's going to be a completely different experience than what you had on Freedom of the Seas, because you are going to be in a dedicated ship within a ship experience. You will have the private elevator, you'll have the private pool, you're going to have the private lounge, the private restaurant, you will have the butler. There will be like a concierge. In addition to your butler, I believe there's a concierge station too that's set up in the Haven as well. Completely different experience. That is a key card entry thing. Whereas, and that is what Royal Caribbean now has, especially on the Icon class. They really do. Oh my God, the suite neighborhood on the Icon class is phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. So the experience you're about to have in the Haven is what Royal Caribbean has for sure on the Icon class, and some of their Oasis class ships now have that experience, especially the newer Oasis class ship, and I know they're trying to retrofit that. But it's going to be a night and day experience doing this, because you're actually doing a completely different experience. On Royal Caribbean, you paid for a really nice room. On what you're doing on Norwegian, you paid for that ship within a ship experience. So that is a completely different experience.
And I have to say, just the Royal Caribbean ship that she happened to do a suite on is not a fair comparison to the Haven.
No, it's not. That's what I'm saying. You basically paid for a very nice room on Royal Caribbean, whereas what you're getting now is that full ship within a ship. And if you want to compare what you're about to do with Royal Caribbean, then you would do like a Star Class suite or a Royal Class suite. Actually, Star is the only one that comes with the Royal Genie.
Yeah.
But even the Star Class would have a lot of great features as well. The other thing that you could compare that to as well would be the Yacht Club on MSC. Those are definitely direct competitors. The Yacht Club, MSC, and now the difference with the Yacht Club on MSC is it comes with everything. It comes with the Wi-Fi, the drinks package, and all of that already built into the price, whereas on Norwegian, you do still have to add that, even with the Haven, which makes no sense. That honestly makes no sense.
Doesn't the Star Class on Royal come with a lot of stuff too?
The Star Class on Royal comes with everything.
Yeah.
If you book the Star Class on Royal, you got unlimited dining, unlimited Wi-Fi, unlimited drinks, unlimited.
Ooh, unlimited, unlimited?
Unlimited, like everything. Anything that you want, it will do it. So yeah, so Rhonda, you're really, I think you're going to really enjoy the Haven. Like I said, that's the first one where they moved it to the back of the ship. And I think that's where it should have been all along, was in the back of the ship. That's why I'm very excited about the Sanctuary on the Star Princess. When we sail on that next year with Tony, we did the Sanctuary. And that is, it's not really a ship within a ship, but it's their version of a ship within a ship, where we'll have our own pool deck, we'll have our own buffet, we'll have our own restaurant. No butler for us. They have some in some of the suites, but we'll be in a mini suite. So, Debbie, you enjoyed the Victory Cruise Line live stream. Thank you. That was great. If you did not see that, most Thursday night, I have a partner on the show. They come on the show. And Thursday night, 8 p.m. YouTube, and they present their information, which is great. And this past Thursday, we have Victory Cruise Lines. Now, if you've never heard of Victory Cruise Line, they are a Great Lakes cruise line. They do all 5 Great Lakes, the St. Lawrence Seaway, and now they're even doing the Eastern Seaboard, because now they're bringing their ships down to Florida. They never used to do that. They literally would lay up their ships in the wintertime and then start again when the Great Lakes season started again. Well, now they're actually going to bring their ships down to Jacksonville, Florida, and have a winter season down here. So I'm going to be sending some information out to y'all, because I know some of you guys are like, well, I want a much smaller ship for like the holidays or things like that. There's only 190 people on this. So you're saying, do they ever have promotions? They always have promotions. Oh yeah, in fact, they're running a huge discount right now on their cruises at Victory Cruise Line. So yeah, Debbie, if you want to talk about it, just reach out. They've got some really cool stuff going on at Victory Cruise Line. So their ships are small. There's only 190 people. They're different than, I think it's more like river cruising on the Great Lakes, or river cruising even, up and down the Eastern Seaboard. It would be very interesting to do like one of those sailings down the Eastern Seaboard. I really want to do the St. Lawrence River. That's what I really want to do, because we used to go fishing up in the St. Lawrence River. So I would love that. So. But yeah, so Victory Cruise Line, if you're interested in Great Lakes cruising, they are, there's a very, very big and famous cruise line that advertises Great Lakes, but they're only there for a very short time. Whereas Victory Cruise Line, they run the whole season, the whole summer into fall. You've got Toronto, Montreal, Quebec as you go up and down the St. Lawrence Seaway. And then they do some really cool versions of Canada, New England, that are absolutely beautiful. And again, you're coming in on a very tiny ship. You're coming in on 190 people on the ship. So it's going to be really, really cool. But yeah, no, they do have promotions, and they're a super cool cruise line. Very, very excited to have them as a partner. And Brandon and I go back. Brandon used to work for another cruise line at one time. In fact, if you go way back into those Thursday night live shows, you'll find Brandon on another show. But when he made the switch to this, I honestly had never heard of Victory Cruise Line. There's a Victory Casino thing here in Port Canaveral, which I would not recommend. But once I found out what Victory Cruise Line was, I'm like, dude, we need to talk. This looks really, really cool. And I think one of the cool things with a lot of our clients now, you guys are like, you know, I've done pretty much all the regular stuff, and now I want to start looking for like different experiences, different ways to travel, different places to go. And they have cruises that literally hit all 5 Great Lakes, plus the St. Lawrence Seaway. Like you go Toronto to Chicago, you hit all 5 Great Lakes, or you can go on up and down the St. Lawrence Seaway. They look absolutely beautiful. So you should definitely reach out. We can talk about them. They have Victory 1, Victory 2. They're both the same ship, basically. And yeah, it'd be very cool. Stan, that would have been fun to have you on the Murder Mystery Cruise for sure. John wants to know, has Celebrity confirmed that Reflection is next for the refurb? Yes. Well, I don't know if they've officially confirmed it. I thought Alex said it on our Celebrity live stream. But if you look at the Reflection schedule, at some point next year, you're going to see that she's blacked out for like 45 days, and that's when she's going in. So Reflection is next. We just don't know which ones come after that. John is talking about the new Solstice Revolution that they're doing on the Celebrity Solstice class, which is just a beautiful class of ship. We've been on 4 of them now. We've been on Silhouette, Reflection, and Equinox twice. So we've taken 4 cruises on those ships. They are absolutely beautiful. They're like the perfect size, I think. You know, they're not too big, they're not too small. They have a beautiful, we love the solarium, which is the covered pool. And what I love about that, even more so, not only is it a covered pool, it's part of the spa. It's technically part of the spa area. So it's like this just quiet spa music. They're not like playing like loud music, pop music, blah, 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 and all of that stuff. So yeah, it's really, really beautiful. So Reflection will be next. We just don't know after that. So, but just the way to tell is if you look at the Solstice class of ships and just start moving along the years, and at some point you're probably going to see a block where the ship is not available. You can't book anything for like 45 days. That's going to be the window. It's a 45-day window that the ship is out of service. Kathy wants to know, how long are the Great Lakes cruises? They range from, I want to say 8 to 10 up to and up, but I think the average is 10. I think 10 is like the average length of the Great Lakes cruises, but you can extend those out. You know, like you can do 14, 24, 18. It depends on which one you're doing. Like if you do all 5 Great Lakes and go up to St. Lawrence Seaway, that'll be longer. But there are a whole bunch of different options with them. So that's kind of cool. I mean, they have a pretty, for a cruise line that only has 2 ships, they have a very extensive array of itineraries. So yeah, we'd be more than happy to help you guys out with that. And like I said, this year they're adding Jacksonville, Florida. So they're bringing the ship down to Jacksonville, and they're going to do some really cool itineraries, and mainly Eastern Seaboard. So it's going to be like Savannah, I know, was a stop. A couple of stops in, I think, in the Carolinas, a couple of stops in Florida, then they're going to head out to Freeport. So it's like really like a southeastern seaboard cruise. It's actually really cool. Hey Kenneth, how are you? Good morning, good to see you. Thanks for coming in. So if you're just tuning in, I'm Walter, your independent travel agent with Where's Walter Travel. We're answering your questions about all things cruising today. Just kind of an open discussion today. As always, my wife Rebecca is sitting right off camera. We're getting ready to fly to Europe. On Friday, we're flying to Amsterdam, where we will do 2 river cruises back to back. We're going to go south on the Rhine on the Avalon View, and then we're going to go north on the Rhine on the Amelucia. Plus, we're going to spend 3 nights in Amsterdam, 2 nights in Basel, Switzerland, and definitely follow along on all the social channels. I'm going to do a much better job of bringing you guys along on this one. Getting the new phone was part of that. The old phone was kind of driving me crazy. And so if you have any questions about all things cruising, just feel free to drop them in rivers, oceans, or expedition, and I'll do my best to get you the answers. So one of the things, you know, being over in Amsterdam, most of Europe, is actually quite safe. And that is one of the things that you'll read about a lot of these places. Even walking around at night in most of these places, you know, you want to stay in well-lit areas and things like that. But even walking around at night is very safe. The biggest problem, 2 biggest problems in Europe are pickpockets and phone swipes. Actually, those are like the two biggest problems that you had to be most aware of. And so one of the things that everybody recommends is a crossbody bag. And so I got this one here that I'll be wearing now. The straps have some metal in them, so they're very hard to slash. Like one of the things that people like to do, they come up behind you and they cut the strap and then run off with it. This also has RFID blocking in here, so that somebody can't come up behind you with a phone and pull all the information off your credit cards, off your passport, whatever you may happen to have in here. So you definitely want to have a good crossbody bag. And one of the things, and the other thing about this too, is that it has locking zippers. So the zipper just doesn't unzip. They can't just unzip it real quick. You actually have to push it's almost like a mini carabiner is what this thing has. And one of the things that they recommend that you do that I really didn't have time, I wanted to go to Disney a couple of days, walk around the park and test this. They really recommend that you practice with this so that you're not like fumbling around trying to open and close it. And that's probably going to be me for the first few days. It also has a nice pocket in the back of it as well.
You can practice at home.
What's that?
Practice at home.
I'll practice at home, that's for sure.
You got 5 days?
Yes. Where can Kathy's asking where we ordered this. So pretty much everything that I'm going to show you we ordered from Amazon. So this is just an Amazon thing. This is I can't remember the name of this brand. You do.
But there's all sorts of variations.
Okay. Yeah, there's all sorts of variations, and I have it set so it's going to hang right about here. Right here on my chest. So it's going to hang up a little bit higher. So yes, you can play with that. So definitely want to have a nice crossbody bag, and you want to make sure that it's anti-slash so that they can't come up behind you and cut the strap. And you want to make sure that there's some RFID blocking in here. And the other thing too, so one of the biggest tips that we've learned, there's 2 channels that we watch. One with a French couple that does a lot of great tips, and then another one, it's a wife of a pilot who does a lot of great stuff on YouTube. But the French couple said one of the biggest things is when you're using the mass transit is try not to be the last one getting into like a stuffed train car, because what a lot of the pickpockets like to do is to just reach in as the doors are closing. Or they just push into you and then they pull the bag as they pull out. So if you see a train car is like really, really full, their recommendation is don't get into it, wait for another one that's a little bit less so you can step in and get away from the door immediately, so they can't pull from you. Yeah, Rebecca has a different version of the crossbody bag.
It's still crossbody bag, but it's more friendly.
Purple for one, so it's gotta be purple for her. So yeah, this is another version of it. So this is a little bit larger, obviously. It's a little bit larger than this one, so you can see the two of them side by side. We ordered both of these from Amazon. So,
and I know the brand.
What I'll do is I'll drop the links to Amazon in our YouTube live stream. As soon as the live stream is done, I'll go back and drop the links to these things.
And my brand is Travelon.
Travelon. I think they're both Travelon, actually. Mine is as well.
So, yeah.
Yes, the company is called Travelon, like Travel On. Travelon is the name of the brand.
But Baglini is another good brand.
Yeah, so Rebecca did a lot of research on that. Hey, Cruising Kimberly, how are you? Thanks so much for joining in. Thank you everybody for joining in. We're having so much fun. Which cruise lines do British Isles cruises? Oh my God.
So many of them.
Is that one here?
Probably.
I don't see it.
The chair.
Where?
The chair.
Oh, it's in the chair. Yeah. So funny you should ask, because we've been looking at them. If you want the ultimate British Isles cruise, then Azamara. So Azamara as a brand has like the longest port stops and the most overnight cruises. But so the British Isles is done by a lot. Predominantly we book Princess and Holland America. They do a lot of really good British Isles cruises.
Celebrity does it as well.
Celebrity does it. I mean, all of your major players will do it.
Well, not Virgin.
We think Princess, Holland, and Celebrity, are among the mainstreams. They do it among the best. But if you are serious about a British Isles cruise, we were looking at some in 28 because Azamara just dropped them, and What they do is they have two 12-nighters that they put together into a 24-night. So you can do either Scotland or Ireland or combine them all. But if you combine them all for the 24-night cruise, you would leave from Portsmouth, okay? You would go to, I'm going to get the names wrong, Fowey, F-O-W-E-Y. You go to Cobb, you go to Bantry Harbor, you go to Fanes. You know what? I got the wrong glasses. I can't read this close with those glasses. Maybe I get the right glasses on. Oh my God, I can see now. Okay, so we start in Portsmouth. We go to Fowey, Cobb, Bantry Harbor, Fanes, Galway, Ireland, Killybegs, Ireland, Greencastle, Northern Ireland. You'll overnight in Belfast. You'll go to Dublin. You'll come back to Portsmouth. You'll go to Douglas, Isle of Man, Glasgow, Tobermory, Scotland, Stornoway, Kirkwell, Orkney Island, Shetland, Aberdeen, Invergordon, Dundee, and Edinburgh. So if you want to do the British Isles, that's the one you do the British Isles right there.
If you have the time.
If you have the time, and you can do either or. You can do Scotland or Ireland if you want that. But they all do it. I mean, there's a lot of different options. I think the most that we probably book Princess the most, to be honest with you, because they have some really nice ones in there, or Holland America, probably Holland America too. But there are a lot of different options for doing the British Isles. Just reach out. You know, if I'm not available, Corey or Mindy can certainly help you as well. They're really building their business as well. Carol wants to know, how do the Great Lakes Cruise Line treat solo passengers? About 150% solo supplement is what Brandon said on the show. There could be some specials. Like right now, they're running some really good specials overall, which is going to drop your price. But he said in general, it's about 150% for the solo supplement. Good question, good question.
So that's better than double.
Yeah, it's better than 200, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So John is thinking that the Equinox might be next, because the Equinox ends in February. If the Equinox simply ends in February and there's nothing to book after that, that doesn't mean she's going in for a dry dock. If there's a hole in her schedule and then there's more after that, that's when you know there's a dry dock schedule. But if the schedule just ends, that may mean that they don't have her deployment set yet, or they may be changing her deployment. So that's always kind of a catch-22. If the ship just simply ends and there's nothing more to book, then we don't know if she's going into dry dock at that time, or we just don't know what she's doing. I always look for the holes. I look for a dark space in their schedule. If there's a dark space in a ship's schedule that you cannot book for at least 2 weeks, that means that something's going on with that ship. She's going in for a maintenance dry dock, or in the case of the Solstice class, if it's a 45-day hole, then you know, okay, that's when she's going in. So.
Although the shorter holes can also be charters.
It can also be charters as well. Yeah, that's the other thing too. If you see a 1 week hole, that's probably a charter, because you can book the entire ship. You can take over the entire ship. You all have seen stories about that, where like a cruise was canceled because a charter came in and bought them. Phil and Sue, that's them. Les Frenchies. That's the name of that couple in France. I'll pop that up on the screen. They are absolutely fabulous. If you're going to France at all, you definitely should be following Les Frenchies. But also just in general, if you're going to Europe, they actually have a lot of great safety tips in keeping yourself safe in Europe. Like I said, the most part is pickpocketing. That is the worst. Now, with the phones, you really have to be careful about how you're holding it, which is kind of a shame, because we all just kind of hold it like this. But the growing thing now in Europe is using those electric scooters and the bike. They just come flying by you. They reach their hand out and they grab it right out of your hand. So a couple of tips for that: one, be back closer to the side, like to a building. Don't be right on the edge of the street holding your phone out like this, which a lot of us are, because we're using the phone as our map, right, to get to where we need to be. So if you're using it as a map and you're at an intersection or something, you know, maybe just bring the phone back in like this and cross your arms so it's like underneath your arms. Don't just stand there holding it out like this, because if you're holding it out like that, somebody can come along and grab it. That wife of the pilot said that one of their pilot friends just recently had it taken right out of their hand. There's a pilot, you know, who knows better, right? So that is a big thing. I have noticed now on Amazon there are these things where you can clip the phone to your belt like that. So I'm considering something like that. But I don't know. And certainly, no matter where you are, inside, outside, whatever, never put your phone down on the table. Like if you're at a cafe or you're in the hotel or whatever, don't just, because we all do that, right? We're in a restaurant, we just put the phone down on the table. Don't ever put your phone down on the table. Always keep it in your pocket, for sure. And certainly if you're going to keep it in a pants pocket, make sure that has a zipper on it with a little carabiner lock and all that good stuff on it. So yeah, so those really the two big things, right? Is pickpocketing, stealing the phone. And then I even got myself a nice little wallet, a nice small wallet. This is an RFID blocking wallet because it's very easy to lift all that information. So, Lady C, is Norwegian as fun as Carnival and Royal? Well, I don't know what you mean by fun. I will say there is nothing like the Fun Squad on any other cruise line out there. Once you've gone on Carnival and you've experienced the Fun Squad, they really are. They're a lot of fun. They're amazing. And there's nobody that does it quite like they do. I think Royal comes closest to that. I think the Norwegian activities team is the most subdued of all of them. I don't think they do quite as much as all the rest. I think they try.
Well, it also depends on the particular entertainment crew that's
and the cruise director and all that. I think the cruise director staff probably because Carnival's just over the top. I mean, I don't know how they keep that much energy going. I really don't, because they are just on it all the time. So it's hard to compare Carnival's activity team to anybody else. Royal Caribbean probably comes the closest. Now, it also depends on the ship that you go on. So like if you go on the Norwegian Jewel, like we just did, Norwegian is the Norwegian Jewel, which is a very laid-back experience, but she was a small ship. Now you go on the Breakaway class, it's a little more lively, a little more fun, because they've got more spaces, they've got bigger spaces, so there's a lot more going on. I think the Breakaway class actually more closely compares to Carnival than their newest ships, which is a nice combination between laid back and everything going on. So they're just different. Royal Caribbean, you know, they are definitely, especially when you're on the bigger ships, they're up there. But Norwegian it's just a different animal. I think if you like Carnival and Royal, you should certainly give Norwegian a chance. If you like the bigger ships, you like a lot more to do, then you should do the Breakaway class or the Prima class on Norwegian. If you want something a little bit more laid back, then go with some of the smaller ships like the Pearl, the Jewel, the Jade, and things like that. Yeah, it's really good. It's really good. John is saying you can get a wristband on a phone cover. Yes, you can. Yep, and I've also seen the ones, like I said, where you can clip the phone to your belt. I may do something like that. Barbara brought a crossbody lanyard for your phone. Yeah, and I could do something where it clips to my crossbody bag as well. So yeah. So Gary, this is a great question actually. If I book a cabin for 2 that can actually hold up to 4, can I add a person last minute? The answer is maybe. So number 1, it depends on if your muster station is full. So the muster station, you know, every room is part of a muster station, and every muster station is assigned a lifeboat or a couple of lifeboats. And those lifeboats are set up so that every room in the muster station at double occupancy, everybody can get onto the lifeboat. And then there is some leeway for the 3rd and 4th guests in the room. So if there's still room in the muster station, yes, you can add that. You can add somebody. If there's no room in the muster station, then you will not be able to add another person. The other thing that can happen though, when you add that 3rd person, your room can be refared to whatever the price is today. That price could be a lot higher than it was if you would have just booked 3 people when you booked the cruise. So those are the two factors. If there's room in the muster station, yes, you can add that person. The price may not necessarily just be that little cheap, oh, it's on like a third or fourth guest travels free or something like that. It could affect the rate of your room much more than you think. So if you want to do it,
your own rate for the first two people will likely change.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. The overall room rate could change, and it could change significantly. So definitely, you know, like if you're working with me or something like that, I can go ahead and find out the price before we actually pull the trigger, or you can call the cruise line and find out the price before you pull the trigger. Phil and Sue are saying that the crossbody strap, they have the crossbody strap that attaches to the phones. That's cool. Stan saying that Holland America announced year-round sailing in the Mediterranean. Not sure if that includes the UK.
It does not, because that's not the Mediterranean.
Yeah. So that would be Northern Europe. And so no, that's not the same. Although I think there were some like early and late where the ship may have been going like doing a little bit of that, but it will be staying in the Med.
Yeah, I think Holland America does have some Norway cruises that go a little bit later than most because of to see the Northern Lights.
Yeah.
But they're going to be out of there like before the dead of winter, certainly.
Absolutely. What class is the Carnival Jubilee? That's the Excel class. The new, what is the name of the new ship? Ace class? I think it's Ace class. That's the one that's going to be the 8,000 passengers. It's going to be massive. It really is. But it is the latest currently of the Excel class until what's coming next? Festival comes next, and then the Tropical. Is that the way they go? Or is it Tropical and Festival? But yeah, so they got two more of them coming, and the next one that's coming out is also going to be in Galveston. So you'll have two ships in Galveston, and I think one of them is switching to 3/4.
And the previous two to the Jubilee were the Mardi Gras and the Celebration.
Yeah, so I think one of those ships is going to do 3-night, 4-night, and one of them is going to continue to do the 7s once you get it. Stefan said he's a bit scared of the size of the Star and the Sun Princess. Should you be? No.
It's a lot smaller than the Jubilee.
Well, actually, technically it's not.
Well, I mean, passenger-wise.
Technically, the Star and the Sun started out as Carnival ships. I think they're built on the Excel frame, but where the Excel class can push upwards of 6,000 guests or 5,500 guests, the Star and the Sun were not designed for that many people. They created bigger public spaces. They're absolutely gorgeous ships. We sailed on the Sun, and what I think Princess did absolutely brilliantly with these ships, they took advantage of the size and that sphere. While it is absolutely beautiful, and it brings in the thing it does, it brings in a ton of light to the middle of the ship, and the piazza is the size of that sphere. It's a massive piazza, which is their version of the atrium. And it has now turned into the heartbeat. It always is the heartbeat of the ship, but now it really is. There's so much room there now that more people can gather. They can put on bigger and larger events there. They've reconfigured how those decks are used. So now you've got deck 7, 8, and 9 all part of the piazza. And you've got international cafes up on 7. You've got the coffee shop up on 9. You've got the coffee shop down on 7. You got Crooner's piano bar over to one side. I think one of the brilliant things they've done is when the Crooner piano bar is going, there is nothing else happening in the piazza, and the music is piped throughout the entire piazza, which is actually really cool. I love that so much. And then the Sanctuary collection that they built into the Star and the Sun are absolutely phenomenal. This is their answer to a ship within a ship experience. And it is a private sun deck, private pool in the back of the ship. You get your own restaurant. If you're in a suite, you get a lounge, but you can actually book a balcony, a mini suite, or a suite and get Sanctuary collection benefits. So they're absolutely beautiful ships. They really are. My favorite class of ship still from Princess is the Royal class. I think there's just something about that Royal class that they really done it up well, but there's no reason to be scared of the Sun and the Star. They're absolutely beautiful. They're absolutely beautiful. You've got 8 restaurants, I think, to choose from, so the food is phenomenal. They have the wraparound deck on deck 9, I think it is, 8 or 9. which is that whole wraparound. You got 3 pizza joints, right? You got the pizza by the pool, you got Alfredo Pizzeria, and then you got a deep dish pizza down on deck 9. You got 3 coffee shops on there. It's a phenomenal ship. I think they're absolutely beautiful. They're not my favorite with for Alaska because I think it's a little bit big for Alaska, but you do get those views from the Sphere. And if they can get it to where that ship goes into Glacier Bay, that's going to be phenomenal.
Which currently I don't think it does.
It does not, no.
And there's another port it doesn't go to, I think maybe Skagway.
There may be one, or I don't know.
No, it's either Skagway or Ketchikan, one of those two.
Yeah.
And it goes to Icy Strait Point instead.
Yeah, so... Oh, thank you, John. John said they would always book with a travel agent because it costs no more and you get excellent service and you can get, I would assume you mean you get follow through. Thank you for that. Yeah, and that is absolutely true. There are some travel agents now that do charge a planning fee or service fees and things like that. We do not. Our business model is that we do not charge any fees for our services. So then you're saying, well, then how do you make a living? So we make a living through the commission that are built in to the cruises, into the land tours, and to pretty much everything we sell. And if you book through us or you book through Princess, you're paying almost the same price. Sometimes, and why I say almost, because sometimes we can have group rates, like our Star Princess. We were just talking about the Star Princess. So our group rates on the Star Princess right now are like $500, $600 less than what Princess is advertising on their public site for the same rooms that we have. And then in other cases, you're going to pay the exact same price. The difference is Princess would keep the commission if they sell the room, and we get the commission if we sell the room. So the price is the same. They've already built it in. And the reason why is because travel agents sell, on average, about 75% of all the cruise staterooms every single year. So even with all the advertising, even with all the AI and all the websites where you can book it all yourself, travel agents are still responsible for about 75% of all cruise cabins worldwide. So that's why all the commissions are built in like that. So, and when you book with a travel agent, you're supporting a small company. You know, this is just, Where's Walter Travel is my wife and I. And now we've got 2 associate agents. We've got Corey and Mindy, and we've got Phoebe, who is our agency support coordinator. And actually we're bringing on 1 more agent hopefully this week. We're just waiting for KHM Travel Group to go ahead and finish everything out. And one of the cool things is, you might say, well, you're a small travel agent. So we have the resources of a 5,600 member agency. KHM Travel Group has 5,600 travel agents working under that umbrella. We have a whole support team in Cleveland. There's about 100 people up in Cleveland for KHM Travel Group, so that's our support team. And we have access to some of the best representatives throughout the industry. You see them on most Thursday nights when they come on my show. They're absolutely amazing people. So thank you for that, John. I appreciate that. Kathy's saying travel agent can always get clients out of a situation that can arise versus booking on your own. You know, yeah. You know, I think that's the biggest advantage for working with a travel agent is when things go sideways. And things will go sideways, you know, it's travel, right? Things can go sideways. And we can't solve every problem, but we generally have a better shot at solving issues with the support team that we have is different than the support team that you get when you call the 800 number. And then if that support team can't get the results that we want, then we step up to the next level, which would be our direct representatives. And in fact, this coming Thursday night, we got one last show. I don't know why I did this, but we're doing a Thursday night show and then we fly on Friday morning. But this coming Thursday night, we actually got Brett from Princess coming. So if you got questions about Princess Cruises, this coming Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern time, I will have Brett joining me. I think it's going to be Brett's 3rd time on the show. Such a fun guy. Such a fun guy. So he'll be coming on the show Thursday night, talk about Princess. But yeah, thank you for that. Thank you for that. Stan wants to know, on Princess, is it better to pre-order the medallion or wait until embarkation day to get it? We like to pre-order it. It's $20 now, or has it gone up again?
No, it's $20 per household.
Yeah. So it's
for
$20,
up to, I believe, 4 medallions.
Yeah, $20 per household to have them shipped to you. That's up to 4 medallions. We like to have them on hand because, so Princess recently instituted arrival groups. And so when you arrive at the terminal, there's going to be two lines. There's going to be a green line, which means you already have the medallion and you've finished everything that you need to do for check-in, or there's going to be a blue line where you have to check in and get your medallion at the port. I like to just have it. I like to have it, you know, I wear it as a wristwatch, or I actually put it on my wristwatch. So you have this thing where you can slide it onto your wristband. We just like to have it. So when we get there, we're just heading right to the ship, or we're heading right to, you know, the area for like, we'll be the first ones on the ship. So you know, you don't have to. There are a lot of people who are just like, I'll just pick it up there. And I think the arrival groups help with that now. It used to be a free-for-all. Everybody just showed up at the same time. And you had these long lines just going in. So now that they've set up the arrival groups, it probably won't be quite as bad picking them up, but I just like to have them.
Well, and depends on the day and the time you get there. It may be like just as easy to pick it up. But the one thing I will warn you, and we're hearing mixed things on this, there is some people are saying that the medallions are no longer magnetic.
Yeah.
And that means a lot of the accessories that you have that hold them won't work because they're holding it by a magnet.
Yeah, maybe we can get some clarity from Brett on that.
Yeah, there you go.
This coming Thursday night, I'll put him on the spot. He will not know.
Shine a flashlight into his eyes.
Yeah. John's saying you can now recycle the medallions on completion of a cruise, and that's actually a big thing that Virgin Voyages pushes, right? You know, when the cruise is over, you drop them into the bin. We actually have them on the fridge because they are magnetic, so we've got all of ours.
Which will make it well, I guess we can always add a magnet to them.
Right there.
If they aren't.
It's these guys right there. So yeah, so we got a bunch of magnets there. The one thing I am kind of bummed about the magnets though, for a while there, you could order a custom magnet that would have like the ship logo on it, or some other designs, and now they stopped doing that, which was kind of a bummer because Mindy got one for the Sun Princess. I was like, oh, that would be a cool thing. You know, every ship we go on, it'd be like getting a magnet, right? Get a ship magnet. But then they stopped doing that, and they stopped doing it. So, John is saying that the only issue with the Sun and the Star Princess is that it has one staircase per deck getting down to the piazza, whereas all the other ships, they have a dual staircase that comes down. He's saying that can be a problem because people love to take the photos on those staircases. Fortunately, right next to the piazza is also an elevator bank. So you can walk through the elevator bank and go down the stairs on the other side of the elevator. So yeah, it does mean you have to walk a little bit further away, but you can navigate it pretty easily if you just simply use the elevator bank that's close there. Yeah, so. Stefan is thinking about the Star Princess in the Mediterranean, and the Enchanted is there as well. I mean, that's kind of a toss-up as to which one you go at that point, you know. For the Mediterranean, I mean, I'll be very honest, I like the smaller ships. So I don't know what Princess has that might be smaller over there, but I do like smaller than that, just because, you know, when you come into some of these ports and you got a lot of people. For example, we're doing the Celebrity Constellation for our Italy cruise, and that's plus or minus 2,000 people. And we did that intentionally because we wanted a smaller ship. I do like the smaller ships in the Med. I know some people are like up in arms because, you know, Royal Caribbean is bringing the Legend of the Seas over there, which is an Icon class ship. Well, there's a lot of Europeans that don't want to fly to Florida and get on the ship. So why not bring the ship to them? If they were able to put together a itinerary that works for that ship, then why not? Because they've already had the Oasis class ship. So I think for those who live in North America, I don't really see a reason to fly to Europe and get on the Legend of the Seas. It's primarily there so Europeans have a no-fly or a short-fly trip to get to the ship. You can sail on them when they're over here. So, but over there, I do like the smaller ships. I really do like the smaller ships over there. Now, the Star Princess will be absolutely gorgeous in the Med just because of all that glass. Got all that glass, so you can be sitting there having a cup of coffee and you're going to be looking out through that sphere. Plus, there's a ton, or that whole Deck 9. That Deck 9 is going to be a gorgeous place just to watch the Med go by when you're rolling in, or when you're back on the ship before or after you go. The unique thing about the Sun and the Star, and this is how you know that it was a Carnival ship first before Princess got it, it has the cove balconies. And the cove balconies are a prominent feature on both the Excel class and the, the Vista class.
Yeah.
These are balconies that are actually below the lifeboats. And when we did our Sun Princess group cruise, we purposely booked one of those because I just wanted to see what it was like, because you are literally on the waterline. And the ship always feels like it's going fast. You know, when you're up on top and you're looking down, like John, who's watching, he had a mini suite up near the top. And when you look down from that, it's like, oh yeah, the ship's kind of moving. And then you come down to our room, it's like, wow, the ship's really moving, because you're right on the water. It's like you could almost go fishing from those balconies. And I would do it again. I really, really enjoyed being down there below the water, below the lifeboats, and being right by the waterline. It's called a cove balcony because you're actually behind the steel of the ship, whereas when you're in a traditional balcony, your balcony extends beyond the ship. It was actually really, really cool being down there. I don't recommend it for everybody because it is a completely different experience. The other cool thing about it is on deck 6, excuse me, you just pop up and there's deck 7. I was right there by the coffee house, so that was really good. So I really did like that. I really did like that.
Your life does revolve around coffee quite a bit, doesn't it?
My life revolves around coffee, yeah. And I showed this really early in the show, but I haven't brought it back up since. But we actually got ourselves some new luggage for this trip. It's called Monos, M-O-N-O-S. And they have 2 sizes of checked luggage, carry-on luggage, because carry-on for European carriers tend to be smaller for the European carriers than for the North American carriers. So this would be considered a full-size carry-on. Then we also have a smaller one. And this one has a little pouch in the front. You can unzip that and put the laptop right there. These are incredibly light and durable, and Rebecca did all kinds of research on them. And oh my God, these wheels are like insane. It just rolls so easily. So yes, we paid a little more for these. Yes, Rebecca got her purple one. But we also have all the rest of them are in this bright lime green. So, you know, I don't know why people get black luggage. Get bright colored luggage, so when it comes off the conveyor belt, you can see it very easily.
Walter, everybody else should get black luggage.
Yeah, right. Right. We were going with the we were looking for a bright orange. But yeah, so Monos, it's a very nice, I mean, this is a good, I think, 2 pounds lighter than our Samsonite luggage that we had. Now 2 pounds, that's 2 pounds that you can pack inside the luggage. So it's called M-O-N-O-S. They have this version. This is the Plus that has the flap in the front. You can put the laptop, and then they have a version that does not have that flap on the front. We have both.
Well, that's the Pro Plus. The Pro is the bigger one.
Pro Plus.
Just the regular carry-on is the smaller.
Yeah. So they have the smaller one. That doesn't come with a flap at all.
No, but there is one that size that comes without a flap as well. That's just the Pro. This is the Pro Plus because it's got the...
Yeah. So, Kathy is saying that the European carriers include the wheels in the size of the thing, whereas American carriers don't include the size of the wheels. So they need to be a little bit shorter. And
some European carriers have a weight limit for your carry-on luggage as well. So the lighter the actual luggage can be,
yes,
the better.
Yeah, so Barbara's asking if I can put a link to the luggage too. So after the show is over, in the YouTube description, I will put a link. The crossbody bag that I showed, the 2 crossbody bags that we showed, I'll put a link to my little wallet in there, and I'll put a link to Monos luggage as well. Yep.
Yeah.
And I noticed that Gary started doing that. Gary does that, so I'll start doing that on our live streams too.
And we'll let you know how this trip will be our first in-world usage of it, so it'll be good to see.
We're gonna make a lot of mistakes. I know we're gonna learn a lot of things. I mean, we share a lot of information with you guys. It's funny, you know, a lot of times, like when we share all these travel guides and things with that, we don't really hear a lot back from y'all, so we just assume everything is going well. But we're gonna start doing some new start reporting back on everything, and that'll allow us to upgrade our travel guides. I mean, that's the whole reason why we go do these. You know, I know a lot of you guys think that we get to travel for free all the time and all. You know, we pay for 90% of our travel. This is what's coming up next week is a very rare occurrence in our world, where we were actually invited by the cruise lines to come on to.
Although we did have to pay a small amount for each of those.
Of course,
cruises.
You always got to pay port fees and taxes and maybe a few other things. And of course, the gratuities. We would never not pay those gratuities. But there are some occasions, sometimes, Avalon basically invited us because of that Christmas cruise, because we have more than half the ship sold. And they want to make sure that we fully understand what's going on. And Alma's kind of taking advantage of the fact that we're going to be there. And they're like, well, why don't you just get on our ship while you're there? So we're very thankful to the travel partners, but this is honestly the only way that we can truly learn about these products. And then that makes us better qualified to explain it to you when you start asking all the questions. John said, are we going to go live next Sunday? I don't know. I don't know what we're doing on Sunday.
Sunday, I believe we have the canal cruise and the guided tour of the Van Gogh Museum.
Probably not.
But I don't know what time there would be 10:30. Have to figure out the time.
Yeah, we got to figure out the times and also the Wi-Fi situation.
Well, yeah, that too.
All that good stuff. I do intend to go live from the ship, though. At least once. Especially since we're gonna have an overnight in Amsterdam on the ship to start with, which we will have already spent 3 days in Amsterdam, and then on the backside we're gonna have an overnight in Amsterdam again, and we will have already spent some time in Amsterdam. So I will probably do at least one live from both ships. That's my plan anyway, is to try to do at least one live from each of the ships. Certainly going to shoot as much content as I can and try to bring you guys the comparison, the contrast, and all of that stuff as to what the various ships are like and all of that good stuff. Pam and Bob would love to know if the medallions for Princess are no longer magnetic, because that would mean they will not interfere with the pacemakers. Now the official FAQs on Princess still says that they are magnetic, and you do have to be aware if you have a pacemaker, they do not recommend wearing them on a lanyard. I personally don't like the lanyards. It doesn't matter what cruise line I'm on, because they fly around and they get in the way when you're doing stuff. So I'm not a big fan of the lanyards, but yeah, that is a big concern if that's an issue. Now the ones for I can tell you the ones for Virgin Voyages are not magnetic, so I don't really know why they were magnetic to begin with, but
well, they were magnetic so it would more easily go into the wearable stuff they had. It just magnetically.
True. Yeah, because it's magnetic. Yeah.
Which, if it is no longer magnetic, is possible that all your old
that's true. If you get the one
wearables will not work.
Yeah. John is reminding everybody to get a travel sim for your phone before you travel. We don't have to worry about that. We have T-Mobile. We love our T-Mobile plan. I can use my phone in over 200 countries or around 200 countries. The data is free. I can use free data all day long, and then if I get on a Wi-Fi, I can make calls all day long.
They're free, but after a certain amount of data usage, you go to a lower speed.
Yeah. It's free data, and we get the high-speed data for like so much, and then it'll drop down. But it is unlimited data, which is great. So I can get my emails and stuff even while we're walking around. Now, one big tip, and this will not apply to the rivers really, because we're just going to be local. But when you're on an ocean ship and you're doing time changes, I actually had somebody ask me yesterday about this. We were talking about it. Like, how do you keep up with the time changes and making sure that you're on the right time? For me, the answer is a very simple, very cheap analog watch. I have an analog watch. I bought them 2 for $36 on Princess. They look great. They're nice and big, so I don't need my glasses to see what I'm doing. I just set it to whatever the ship time is, and it doesn't matter what my phone does. Doesn't matter what if it's trying to hop off the local cell towers and all of that stuff, and the clock changes. I don't have to worry about going into my phone and setting it to turning off. I do that though on cruises. When I get on a cruise ship, I will turn off all the automatic everything that has to do with date and time on the phone, and I will set that manually. But a analog watch is like the perfect thing for something like that. Celine, you're a cruiser. You're currently booked for 3 Royal and 2 Carnival. Wow, that's awesome. You got 5 on the books. That's the way to do it. Royal Caribbean. Royal Caribbean is one of our amazing partners. We got Kathy, we got Hong down here, we've got her whole team up there. We love working with Royal Caribbean, and Royal and Celebrity are two of the cruise lines that we find so many group rates. We get so many group rates on Royal Caribbean, and everybody's like, hey, I saw this cruise for whatever, and I'm like, hey, I got this cruise for like $200 or $300 less than that. Would you rather do that? Oh yeah, let's do that. So yeah, that's part of being part of that consortium that we're a part of. Very often, we are finding some really nice group rates on Royal Caribbean and on Celebrity. Really good. Carnival, not so much. But Carnival's rates are so low anyway. They're just they're such a fun cruise line. That Fun Squad, oh my God, the Fun Squad on Carnival is so much fun, so much fun. Kenneth Lee, you are like very nice. Thank you for the super chat. That's very kind of you. Really, really appreciate that, and really appreciate your support. You are like one of our early followers and one of our early clients. We thank you so much for following along with us. And I think you were the one that met Sir Richard, right? You were the guys on the ship and you met Sir Richard up in Alaska. That was so freaking cool. Everything blends together, so I apologize if that's wrong. But everything kind of blends together. Kathy said just make sure to watch this waterproof just in case. I mean, for 18 bucks. I'm not worried about it, and I'm not jumping in the water with it. But not a bad idea. Not a bad idea, too. Yeah, thank you, Alex. Alex said enjoy your time in Europe. I appreciate that. Pam and Bob said they did the Cove balcony on the Mardi Gras and loved it. It's a very unique experience. It's very cool being that low to the waterline. Just don't do what that idiot did and got himself banned from Carnival. He actually brought a fishing pole and was fishing off the back of the ship. Don't do that, because you will be banned. It's very tempting though, because you're right there, but don't do it. So, yeah, I know, an analog watch. Yeah, isn't that great? And everybody laughed like, wow, that is old school. If I book on board with Celebrity, can I transfer it to you and still get your group rates within the 30-day requirement? If there are group rates available on that particular sailing, yeah, I can recategorize you. So basically, with Royal Caribbean and Celebrity, those are the two easiest cruise lines for me to refare you if the rates go down. Takes me about 30 seconds. I just go in and pick the new category. And in your case, if there was a group rate available on Celebrity, let's say you booked the E1 Infinite Balcony on one of those ships, and I've got a group rate sitting on the E1, I would just simply switch your rate over to that one. But that's only if it's available on that particular sailing. They're not available on every single sailing, and of course they're all limited. There may only be 10 cabins in each category, and those cabins are available for all of us, like a KHM travel group. So it's like a pool that we can all pull from. So if they're available, yeah, we can totally do that. It's an online form that they have to fill out with Celebrity and Royal Caribbean. You have to fill out to transfer the booking over. Now, if a travel agent booked you on that sailing, and then you purchased a new Celebrity cruise on that sailing, it will be assigned to that travel agent. It will not be a Celebrity booking. In that case, then you are working with a travel agent right now, and there's this whole process where they would have to release it, and then you have to give it to me. I don't recommend it. I don't like taking things away from other travel agents. But if you book directly, if you truly book directly with Celebrity Cruise Lines and there's no other travel agent attached to it, then you could transfer it over. But I just, I don't really like it. I have had some people ask me about transferring from a travel agent to me, and I really don't like that. You have to have a really compelling reason why you want to, and really the only compelling reason is you're just not getting any service from that person.
And even if you want to, they still have to release it.
They have to release it, yeah. So, because we all work hard. We all work really, really hard at this, and I do not like taking anything from anybody. So yeah, so it is possible. You would just have to, and I can't tell you if it has a group rate, because it could take up to 3 or 4 days for that whole process to happen. And in those 3 or 4 days, the group rate rooms could go away. So I wouldn't even tell you whether I had the group rates until you actually made that transfer. So at the very least, you would have me now working. So I think the biggest thing about working with a travel agent is that you're just working with one person. It doesn't matter who you're booking. It doesn't matter what cruise line. It doesn't matter which land tour company. It doesn't matter with everything. You're just working with me, or you're working with Mindy, or you're working with Corey. You're just working with the same person, so it's not like you have to reintroduce yourself to somebody new. It's not like every single time you call in, you now have a different person that you have to explain everything to. For every single cruise, for every single land tour, it's just me, or it's Corey, or Mindy, so we know you, and now it's just what can we do? What can we do for you? And then we take it and we explain it all to the cruise line. We take it and we explain it all to the travel partner. I think that's just the biggest advantage of working with a travel agent is you're just always working with the same person. You know, it's like we know you, we get to know everybody. So many of our clients are friends now, and I just love that. So yeah. Kenneth, Kenneth, it was you that met Sir Richard. Oh, that was so cool. They were on the Alaska cruise. Sir Richard was on the ship, and they met him because he just hangs out. If you are on a Virgin Voyages ship and Sir Richard is on the ship, he's probably going to walk over and say hi. He might challenge you to a game of chess. I saw he was playing chess with a whole bunch of people out there. That was awesome. Kenneth, you have 2 placeholders on Virgin Voyages. Do we still get a 10% discount for booking a year out? It has to be paid in full at least 365 days in advance of the cruise, and I believe that is combinable. I'm all but certain, I could swear I just did that. But yes, and the thing is, when you do that, it's a great question, by the way. When you do that, we need to know going in, because I have to set that promotion. It's not like an automatic thing. It's an actual promotion that I have to apply to the booking saying, pay in full. So Virgin Voyages does have that. You get I don't know if it's a 10% discount anymore, if it's a 5% discount now, but there is a discount at Virgin Voyages for paying in full at least a year out. And oh yeah, that's right, you can definitely do it, because we did it with some folks recently, some folks that you know. So you can definitely combine the My Next version. Oh no, it wasn't yes, it was a My Next. There's like so many things in my head. Yeah, so we can combine that. But Virgin Voyages, if you pay in full at least 1 year in advance, you will get a discount on the cruise. And with another company, Azamara, if you pay in full, I think it's like 210 or 250 days in advance, you get a percentage of your cruise fare as onboard credit, which is actually kind of cool too. I know Phil and Sue just did that recently. So.
And aren't there some cruise lines where if you do a bank transfer versus a credit card, you can get a discount?
That is very true. So the one that comes to mind is Viking Cruise Lines. If you do an ACH bank transfer versus paying with a credit card, you get, I think, 2% discount, something like that. A lot of people don't want to do that though, and rightfully so. They're like, I don't really want to turn over my bank information to the cruise line, but it is there if you want to do that. So Stan, great job on the Norwegian Jewel fare audit. You received $1,800 back that you transferred over to the Pearl. Yeah, so that was something. So Norwegian Cruise Line is the only cruise line I know that does this, but if the fare goes down, if your room rate goes down after final payment, they will either give you future cruise credit towards another cruise, or you can request an upgrade if there's an upgrade available, like you go from a balcony to a club balcony suite or something like that, depending on how much money you have. We had almost 200 people on the Norwegian Jewel, and we actually refared that cruise, I want to say 3 or 4 times. And after final payment, we found that it wasn't just a small reduction, it was a big reduction in a lot of the rooms. And so we actually did an audit of I think it was almost 100 cabins. We did an audit of 100 cabins. I submitted the entire spreadsheet over to Norwegian. So again, that would have been like 100 individual guests all having to call Norwegian and take care of this, whereas I put it all in one spreadsheet. I sent it to our support team, and I want to say we got in the neighborhood of like $16,000 to $20,000 in future cruise credit for our group that was on the Norwegian Jewel. That's unusual. That's very unusual. to get that much. But like Stan said, he got about $1,800 back for the two of them. They got $900 per person. It depended on the room that you were in. It also depended on when you booked the cruise. Those who booked it like right off the bat early, they got the largest swing, because I think the rooms were the highest at that point compared to what they were at that time. So yeah, that's another nice perk to working with a travel agent, is that when the prices do go down, you don't have to call the cruise line. You don't have to deal with that. That's my job, to deal with all that. So good. I'm glad you did that. There's a whole bunch of people who have booked new cruises on Norwegian because of that, and that is truly awesome. So, all right. So, folks, it's 12 o'clock over here, and I said this at the beginning of the show, but I'll say it again now for everybody. Is if you are trying to book time with me over the next 3 weeks, you're going to notice that there is literally no time on my calendar. Just send me an email. Send me an email and go ahead and request a time. Phoebe, my agency support coordinator, Phoebe is going to be handling all my email while I'm gone, or she's going to be checking all of my email while I'm gone. So if you want to schedule a time, we're going to be 6 hours ahead of Eastern time. So if you want to schedule a call with me, go ahead and ask her if it is physically possible for me to do the call with you. We'll do it. Otherwise, she will go ahead and set up a time with Corey and Mindy, and they will easily be able to handle everything. There is a way for us to share information. So if it's a question about your cruise or a question about your trip, or you just want to book something new, there is a way for us to share information all across. And Phoebe has already gotten up to speed on a lot of stuff. So if you're trying to set up a meeting with me over the next 3 weeks, you are going to notice that there really isn't much time. But just go ahead and write. Just write to me, Walter at Where's Walter Travel. And Phoebe is going to go ahead and triage everything out and get that all ready. So we're excited, man. So Thursday night, I'm going to have Princess Cruises, and then Friday morning, we're on a jet. So that's going to be fun. We will be fully packed and ready to go. So if you got questions about Princess Cruises, come join us Thursday night on YouTube, 8 p.m. Eastern time. Me and Brett from Princess Cruises. It's going to be a lot of fun. So if we can help you with your travels, please do reach out, where'swaltertravel.com. Myself, Mindy, Corey, and our new person to be named soon will be more than happy to help you out and plan your travels to anywhere in this amazing place. And our services are truly free to you. So thanks so much for tuning in. We love doing these on Fridays. And you guys have an amazing rest of your Sunday. We'll see you Thursday night. Bye, guys.